Jay-Z just turned a birthday into a pressure point, and Kendrick's name is sitting right in the blast radius. Not because a random page threw out bait, but because DJ Akademiks got on stream, started juggling album talk, LA show talk, birthday talk, and Kendrick talk all in the same breath, like a man who realized halfway through the sentence that the room got colder. And nah, what got me tight isn't the rumor by itself, it's the way the timing smells calculated from a mile away. Before we get into it, like, subscribe, don't miss it. Nah, trust me, this one gets ugly. Here's the clean version before I start slamming the table. On DJ Akademiks' stream, the whole conversation got anchored around Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, LA, and October 24. That's Drake's birthday. That's one of the Jay-Z show dates at SoFi Stadium, and that's the date Akademiks kept circling while floating the possibility of Kendrick showing up and maybe even performing Not Like Us. Then he folded album rumors into it too. That's the setup. Now let's talk trajectory. Because once you strip away all the nervous laughing, throat clearing, and little half jokes, the actual sequence here is loud. Akademiks didn't come on there sounding like somebody with one clean detail in a finished story. He sounded like somebody touching a hot stove. First he's saying October 24th is Drake's birthday. Cool, that's a fact inside the rumor. Then he jumps straight to the image that's clearly been haunting that whole side of the internet. Jay-Z bringing out Kendrick on that exact day. And that's when my whole mood changed, because once that image enters the room, this stops being random gossip and starts sounding like people gaming out a power move. And look at the wording he used, because wording matters. He didn't say he saw a flyer. He didn't say a plan had been officially announced. He didn't say Kendrick confirmed anything. What he did say was, I heard that one of the ways this might go down. Then right after that, he starts painting the picture anyway. That matters a lot. Because that's not somebody shutting down a rumor. That's somebody sliding it onto the table with oven mitts on. That's somebody trying to keep one foot in the doorway in case it blows up later. If it happens, he gets to say he heard it. If it doesn't happen, he gets to say he never confirmed it. That's not certainty, that's survival language. Then he goes even crazier with it. He says Drake got to give a reason. Read that twice, because that one sentence tells you the whole chessboard he's imagining. In his version, this thing doesn't just happen out of nowhere. In his version, Drake has to move first. Drake has to jump. Drake has to say something that opens the gate. That's why this whole birthday angle isn't just gossip to me. It's bait analysis. It's people trying to figure out what move forces what response. And when grown men start talking like the calendar itself is bait, just know the room is already paranoid. Then he drops another line that practically confesses the entire energy of the stream. It's all calculated, right? That's not me adding spice. That's him asking the question out loud. And once he says that, the whole conversation stops sounding like fan fiction and starts sounding like a panic audit. Because now we're not debating whether Jay-Z might have guests. Of course Jay-Z might have guests. The question becomes, why this date? Why this city? And why does this possibility have certain people acting like they heard thunder before the storm even hit? And the timeline only gets nastier from there. Akademiks says he heard about the concert before the concert happened. Then he adds that after the second concert at Yankee Stadium got sold out, they were going to announce the LA show. That's a huge piece. Not because it confirms Kendrick, it doesn't, but because it frames this LA moment as part of a rollout logic. New York does numbers, LA becomes the next board position, and everybody with sense starts asking what the next activation is supposed to be. That's not me inventing a rollout. That's me listening to a man describe one while pretending he isn't describing one. And this is where the stream starts snitching on the psychology. He says, I heard there's an album. Not maybe music in the air, not vague something's coming, an album. Then later he says October is supposed to be a good time. Now stop right there. Because if you put those two pieces next to the LA show talk, next to the birthday talk, next to Kendrick's name getting floated, you don't have proof of a finished master plan, but you absolutely have a cluster of connected pressure points. Album talk, show talk, date talk, Kendrick talk. That's not one rumor, that's a rumor ecosystem. And what kills me is how hard he tries to keep the whole thing loose while still saying way too much. He goes from, I don't think Drake would try to bring out Kendrick on Drake's birthday, to, if it does happen, I'll be in the building. Bruh, pick a lane. That's not stable skepticism.
That's fear doing stretches. That's a man arguing with his own imagination in real time, because one part of him wants to downplay it and the other part of him knows the image is already stuck in his head. Now line up the dates and the spaces, because that's where the pattern gets teeth. First, the New York momentum. Then the second Yankee Stadium concert gets sold out. Then LA becomes the next headline. Then the talk shifts to October 23 and October 24 at SoFi Stadium. Then the birthday angle enters. Then Kendrick enters the conversation. That's a clean spine. That doesn't prove every theory people are throwing around, but it absolutely explains why this rumor has traction. Event A points to Event B. Event B points to Event C. And by the time you get to the calendar, the whole thing feels less like random noise and more like people tracing a route. Quick reset. Breathe for a second, because this is exactly where people lose the plot and start screaming confirmation when what we really have is a strategic fog. But fog doesn't mean nothing's there. Fog means something is there and you can't fully see it yet. Now keep walking. Akademiks brings up Drake's own behavior too. He references Drake jumping out the window like he did with Pusha. He says, when Drake says the jig is up and somebody gets on stage and does a whole freestyle, people don't like it, people don't get it, it's not really warranted. Then he mentions the gambling stream and Drake saying the Roc Nation subpoenas. All of that matters because it shows the whole debate is being framed as move and counter-move already. Not song only, not talent only, positioning, signal, timing, escalation, restraint. That's political language wearing rap clothes, and if you ask me, that's where the so-called rumor turns into something bigger than Kendrick maybe popping out for one moment. The real tension is that everybody in this conversation sounds like they're talking about access. Who knows what before the public knows it? Who gets the stage? Who gets the announcement? Who gets to turn a city into a message? Who can make one appearance feel like a verdict? That's why the birthday part hits so hard. Birthdays are personal. Stadiums are public. Put those together and suddenly this ain't just music chatter anymore, it's territorial. And don't miss the way Akademiks keeps circling Drake's awareness. I don't think Drake knows about this. He says that like a joke, but that sentence is loaded.
Because if your whole read is that one of the biggest artists in the game doesn't even realize what board he's standing on, then what you're really saying is somebody else controls tempo right now. Somebody else is making people react. Somebody else might be dictating when the next headline lands. Small detail, massive implication. Here's another one. He keeps describing the scenario like it hinges on Drake giving a reason. That phrase is doing heavy lifting. Rewind that. Because if the birthday show only becomes maximum impact after Drake says something, then the whole rumor space is already imagining public moments as traps. Not celebrations, not just performances, traps. Trigger something over here, then answer it over there with a bigger room, bigger stage, bigger symbolism. That's why some people are laughing too hard. Laughing is what folks do when they can see the trap but can't stop staring at it. And once the LA angle comes in, the politics get even uglier. The stream doesn't just say Jay-Z is doing a show. It frames the show as SoFi Stadium, the biggest venue you could play, then starts listing the names who've touched it in this conversation. Kendrick has played there. Kanye has played there. Travis Scott too. Then comes the dagger. Drake can't get into the building, but Jay-Z can. Oh, now we're not even talking about music alone. We're talking status, access. We're talking which bodies can fill which rooms. We're talking whose name still carries a city-sized keycard. That's not a little diss. That's hierarchy language. That's industry politics in plain sight. When people compare which artist can stand in which building, they're not just arguing taste, they're arguing power, relationships, leverage, and whose brand still gets stamped as event level. So when Akademiks start sounding nervous about what a Jay-Z LA moment might represent, I'm not hearing fear of one song. I'm hearing fear of a ranking being performed live in front of the whole culture. And Jay-Z's guest history is exactly why this rumor won't die. The New York shows already gave the audience a pattern. Beyonce, Rihanna, Fat Joe, Jacques, Clips, Pharrell, Usher, Jermaine Dupri. The list keeps getting brought up for a reason. Not because every city must repeat the same trick, but because once you establish that kind of guest gravity, everybody starts expecting the next market to carry its own symbolic weight. New York got its room, so what does LA get? That's the question haunting this entire conversation. And the second that question gets asked, two names jump off the page from the paste itself, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Not because they're confirmed,
birthday or not, but because even the competitor script admits those are the kind of names people are imagining for this room. And once Dr. Dre gets brought up, another detail slides in. Jay-Z wrote Still Dre. Now we got history layered onto location. LA anthem, LA crowd, Jay-Z in the building, Dre or Snoop possible. You see how fast this stops being one rumor and starts feeling like a full cultural chessboard? That's why this has people sweating. And then Kendrick comes right back to the center. Because no matter how big Snoop and Dre would be, the stream talk keeps drifting to one thing. Kendrick Lamar sharing a stage with Jay-Z in LA while Drake's birthday hangs over the date like a neon sign. That's the image. That's the pressure point. That's the thing people keep trying to downplay while also never shutting up about it. If it were really nothing, the room would have moved on. It didn't. It kept circling back like a guilty conscience. Now zoom into the language nobody's isolating enough. I heard, might, supposed to be a good time. I don't think, if it does happen. That's not accidental sloppiness, that's a whole communication strategy.
That's how people talk when they want the rumor to breathe without having to marry it. That's how you keep your hands clean while still lighting the fuse. You don't plant a flag, you release a cloud. And once the cloud is out, everybody else does the work for you. In the court of public opinion, that's the tell. Not the loud part, the hedging. The hedging is the tell. Because when a man keeps backing away from his own point while repeating it anyway, that's usually because the point is too dangerous to say clean. He knows exactly how spicy the picture sounds, so he keeps throwing blankets over it while leaving the outline visible. That's the sound of somebody wanting distance from a rumor he also wants on the board. And one more layer makes this whole thing feel even less accidental. The competitor script brings up Kendrick and Beyoncé on America's Got a Problem remix in 2023. And it also brings up the Don't Kill My Vibe remix from over a decade ago when talking about Kendrick and Jay-Z finally doing a real song together. Again, that does not confirm a new collaboration, but what it does do is lay out a relationship map. Similar circles, shared orbit, overdue direct record. So when album talk, LA show talk, and Kendrick talk start living in the same paragraph, of course the room starts reading it like foreshadowing. That's the surface story. The receipts are where it gets serious. Because if I step back from all the fan war screaming, what I see is an entire ecosystem trying to manage the emotional consequences of one possibility. That a Jay-Z LA stadium moment could become a cultural cosign so big it rearranges how people talk about power in rap for the rest of the year. And once that possibility lands, even the panic starts making sense. I'm gonna say something I know is gonna piss some people off, but I'd be a coward not to say it. This whole conversation is less about Drake's birthday and more about who gets to govern the room when the room matters most. That's the part people dance around because it sounds mean. Cool, mean or not, it's still there. When you hear people stressing over dates, guests, buildings, and who can stand next to who, you are listening to industry politics, not just fan excitement. Everybody's arguing about the wrong thing. The real fight isn't whether one pop-out happens. The real fight is who gets to stage the meaning of the moment. Jay-Z isn't getting talked about here like a regular rapper with a regular rollout. He's getting talked about like a figure who can turn an event into a statement just by who he invites and where he stands. Kendrick isn't getting floated here like a random guest feature. He's being floated like a symbol. And Drake's side isn't sounding rattled because one song might play. They sound rattled because they understand symbols travel farther than tweets. And that's why the SoFi Stadium piece matters so much. Not just because it's big, because of what big means. Big means legitimacy. Big means money. Big means relationships. Big means the phone calls that actually get answered. And when the competitor script flat out leans into Drake can't get into the building but Jay-Z can, that's not even subtle anymore. That's the room telling you that access itself has become the diss. You don't have to say a name in a verse when the venue is already talking reckless on your behalf. Real talk, that's why the birthday angle is almost a distraction. People keep staring at the date because the date is funny. Fine, it is funny. But the date isn't the real blade here. The real blade is the possibility of an East Coast giant in an LA stadium with West Coast symbolism swirling around him, maybe joined by the artist the entire game has been forced to orbit lately. That's not trolling, that's coalition energy.
That's old power and current power shaking hands where everybody can see it.
And here's the read I think some people don't want to say out loud. If this rumor space is even half real, then the fear isn't, oh no, Kendrick might rap a song. The fear is that a Jay-Z and Kendrick moment would feel like an endorsement of hierarchy. Yeah, I said it. And here's why I didn't walk it back. The way Akademiks kept framing the date, the way he kept hinting at the album, and the way the whole building conversation kept centering who can command what stage, that's not random gossip. That's a power map. This isn't about one concert. It's about who can still summon the room and who has to watch the room get summoned without him. Sit with that, because once you hear it that way, all the weird little pieces stop looking weird. The jokes, the hedges, the nervous laughter, the half denials, the obsession with whether Drake reacts, the emphasis on LA, the emphasis on SoFi, the guest history reminders, the Dre and Snoop fantasies, the album whispers. All of it starts looking like one giant scramble to either prepare people for a massive symbolic moment or dilute the impact before it arrives. Same chessboard, different pieces. And if you're wondering why that would have people so emotional, it's simple. Because rap fans can argue numbers all day, but moments still rule culture. A moment can change whose narrative feels hot. A moment can make one side look like it's connected, strategic, and inevitable, while the other side looks like it's live reacting in the comments. That's what people are really afraid of. Looking late, looking locked out, looking like the conversation got bigger than them while they were still trying to make a joke land. And look, maybe nothing happens exactly the way people are whispering. That's possible. Maybe Kendrick never touches that stage. Maybe the album doesn't line up the way the rumor crowd thinks. Maybe the birthday overlap becomes nothing but a date on a calendar. Fine. But even then, the politics exposed by this whole conversation don't disappear, because the panic already told on itself. The anxiety already made itself public. The room already admitted what kind of moment it fears most. You can disagree, but you can't unhear it. So let's play the tape forward, because from here, the opposition side only has a few moves, and every one of them comes with a bruise. Move 1, they stay quiet and pretend none of this matters. On paper, that's the clean move. No extra oxygen, no accidental promo, no fresh reason for anybody to spin the birthday angle harder. But here's why it fails. Silence won't kill the picture once the picture is already in people's heads. The second folks start imagining Jay-Z, Kendrick, LA, and that date together, quiet becomes surrender in the public mind. Watch for the first indirect caption, the first vague stream rant, or the first sideways joke. That's how you'll know silence is already cracking. Move 2, they get loud early. Maybe they troll the rumor, maybe they mock the whole thing, maybe they try to turn the conversation into, look how obsessed y'all are. Sounds cute, still fails. Because once you attack the rumor too hard, you make it look like the rumor touched a nerve. And the minute that happens, every person watching starts asking why a fake scenario needed a real emotional response. Mark my words, if the defense gets too jokey too fast, people are going to read it as pre-damage control, not confidence. Move 3, they try the distraction play. New content, new stream energy, new side quest, something shiny enough to pull the camera away before October becomes one giant suspense reel. That's the smartest move of the 3, and it's still dangerous, because if the distraction feels forced, the audience will smell it immediately, and if it lands weak, then all it does is prove the board got tilted by rumors alone. Watch for any move that seems built to change the subject instead of own the subject. That's the giveaway. Now flip it to the Jay-Z side, because this is where the chess gets nasty. Jay doesn't even need to confirm a thing for this pressure to keep building. That's the beauty of the position. If he says nothing, the room keeps speculating. If he moves at all, the speculation explodes. If Kendrick appears, the image becomes the headline. If Kendrick doesn't appear, the show can still land as a flex because the anticipation itself already made people stare at the calendar. That's what a strong position looks like. You don't chase the noise, you let the noise orbit you. And Kendrick's position is wild too. He barely has to do anything.
That's the scary part. He doesn't need a long speech, he doesn't need some dramatic rollout note. His name entering the rumor is already enough to shake people because of what the name represents in the current rap ecosystem. If he shows, it's an earthquake. If he doesn't show, his gravity was still strong enough to move the entire conversation beforehand. That's leverage. Quiet leverage. The kind that makes other people overtalk themselves. The most interesting move on the whole board might be the one nobody can fully control: expectation itself. Because once fans start treating October 24 like a pressure date, everybody attached to that conversation becomes accountable to the atmosphere, even if they never asked for it. That means one side could end up judged by what didn't happen, while the other side benefits just from being seen as capable of making everybody nervous. Screenshot that and come back later. Anticipation can be a weapon by itself. And don't sleep on the album chatter either. If the album rumor keeps breathing alongside the show talk, then every little public move around that period will get overread. That's what happens when the room thinks rollout energy is in the air. A guest appearance won't look like just a guest appearance. A line won't sound like just a line. A handshake won't feel like just a handshake. Everything gets magnified. That's why people with weak nerves start tripping over their own words before anything official even drops. So here are the 3 possible next moves for the opposition, clean and simple. First move, ignore it. Fails because the silence will look haunted. Second move, laugh it off. Fails because the joke will sound defensive. Third move, flood the zone with something else. Fails because a forced distraction is still a confession that the original conversation got too hot. Chess versus checkers, man. Every square they step on from here could make the rumor feel more real, not less. One thing certain, the next 30 days will settle this. Thanks for watching Celebsphere. If you enjoyed uncovering the real story, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss when we expose what everyone else is too scared to say. Ring that bell for notifications. And if you want more truth bombs like this, click on one of these videos next. Trust me, you'll want to see what we found.